You need to fail. What? What is she talking about? I was always told that failure is not an option. Well, that, my friends, is where a lot of our struggles come from. That simple belief that we can't fail, that failure is bad, that we have to avoid failure at all cost. And we're going to talk about this one, and we're going to talk about why failure is actually important. My name is Julia Christina, and I am a clinical therapist, researcher, and online course creator. I have a master's degree in counseling psychology, and I work to help men and women get through the crap that is holding them back so they can like themselves and their lives more every day. And the crap around failure and the beliefs we have around failures and the ideas that we have around failure and the sayings that we have around failure are a lot of that crap that's getting in our way. So I'm going to give you 3 reasons why failure is important, why it needs to be an option, why it's always a possibility, because telling ourselves that it's not is just creating a whole lot of anxiety, a whole lot of extra unnecessary pressure, a whole lot of stress, a whole lot of feeling closed in, like I have to be successful, because if I don't, then what does that mean? And what does that say? And who am I then if I have a failure? Does that mean that I am a failure? And what do I do with all of this? So we're going to talk about that. So the first reason why you need to fail is because failure has this really powerful way of helping us get clear on what we really want. So let's say you go for something and you put your heart and soul into it and you try everything and you really invest yourself in it, and then it ends up becoming just a huge disaster, or it doesn't end up turning out the way that you expected it would, or it doesn't go according to plan. So what do? Well, one option is definitely to give up. We can say, well, I guess it wasn't meant to be, and I guess I can't do it, and I guess I should just give up and walk away. But what if it's something that I really want? What if it's something that's really important to me? And when I have a failure, when I've fallen flat on my face, and I'm wallowing in my self-pity and feeling like nothing ever goes right, and why is everything so hard, and why don't things go my way? Well, that's the time where I get to ask myself, how important is this to me? Is it worth pulling the dirt out of my mouth, spitting the dirt out, and getting back up and saying, you know what? I'm going to go for it again. I'm going to try again. I am going to put myself out there again because it is worth it, because I want it. And it's become really clear to me now, because I'm at this crossroads. I failed. I can give up or I can get back up. And that's my choice. And if I'm going to get back up, then that means that this thing, whatever it is worth it to me to keep going after. So that's a really good indication that whatever it is that we're going for, whatever that goal is, whatever that thing that we want, that it's really clear that it's really important to us. And so yeah, absolutely worth it to get up and keep going. The next one. The next reason why it's important for us to fail is because it helps us build our determination muscles. It helps us become more resilient. It helps us realize how much we can handle. So if you've never had a failure in your entire life and you go for something and it fails, it's going to hit you hard. It's going to slay you. It's going to feel terrible. It's going to be, what just happened? I've never had this before. I've never experienced this before. Wow, this sucks. But if you've had some failures in the past, maybe some small ones, maybe some medium-sized ones, maybe even some big ones, and you've gotten back up and you've dusted yourself off and you've picked yourself up and you've been like, you know what? I'm going to keep going. I'm going to try this again. I'm going to go for it. I'm not going to let the failure have the final word. Then when you have this next failure, then you can look back and be like, you know what? I've handled it before. I've gotten through setbacks before. I've gotten through struggle before. I am a lot tougher than I give myself credit for. And although this feeling sucks, and although the feeling of failure and falling short or whatever it is a horrible feeling, I know that I can get through it. I know that I can handle it. I know that I can deal with it because I have before. I've used those muscles before. I've worked that before. I've figured it out before. And so when I'm in kind of the thick of the failure spiral and feeling just terrible and awful and no good and feeling just really down and depleted and discouraged, I can take a second and say, okay, self, we've gotten through crap like this before. We've gotten through this feeling before. We've come out the other side when other things like this have happened. When I felt this way before, I've done it. So now I know that I can. So it helps me to become more determined because I've done it before, so I can do it again. It helps me feel more confident in my ability to overcome things, to be persistent, to handle things, and to get to where I want to be, even if it means falling flat on my face and getting a mouthful of dirt every once in a while, or maybe lots of onces in a while. Some of us fail more often than others. And the good news is, if you are failing often, it means you're putting yourself out there. Because you can't fail while sitting at home with everything perfectly in control and with never taking any risks, never trying anything new, never trying anything scary, never going after something uncertain. You can't fail if you're not doing any of that stuff. So if you are someone who has had a lot of failures, know and take comfort in and feel empowered in the fact that it means that you are putting yourself out there, that you are trying things, that you are showing up in life. So it helps to build those muscles, getting good at failing. Knowing that whenever we go into a situation where there's a risk or we're not certain or we don't feel like we have full control over what's going to happen, that failure could happen. But knowing that and accepting that doesn't make it this hugely, overwhelmingly scary thing. Which goes into our next one, in that when we fail, it's not that I am a failure, it's that I had a failure. And what failure shows me is not that I'm a failure, it shows me that I have more to learn. So that's the third reason why we need to fail, because it shows us that we have something to learn. So a lot of us go through life taking failure really personally and telling ourselves, if I had a failure, that means I am a failure. I'm no good, or I don't have what it takes, or I can't do this. But really, failure just means I missed something, or I didn't get it quite right, or maybe I don't know as much as I thought I did, or maybe I wasn't as prepared as I thought I was. It's not personal. It's not because I suck personally. It's because I maybe didn't go about it the right way or the best way or the most effective way. So what do I have to learn? What can I do? What do I want to kind of take from this experience and do differently next time? Where are the gaps? Where are the holes? What did I miss? And so failure is a way of showing us, what do I have to learn? So it is an option. It does happen. It can happen. Usually the more risks you are taking, the more you are putting yourself out there, the more brave and bold you are being in life, the more failures you're going to have. And so getting okay with it. And there's a saying out there that, we need to fail hard, we need to fail fast, we need to fail often, and we need to fail forward so that we get back up and keep going. Because everything is figure-outable. Failure doesn't mean that I am a failure. It means I had a failure. I have something to learn. There's more for me to figure out. Regardless of how good you are at failure, it's always stressful. It always sucks. It always kind of feels like if you failed at something that you were really wanting and that was really important to you or that you were really hoping for, it always feels a bit like a knife to the stomach, like that gut-wrenching, kind of sad, discouraged, hurt, angry, frustrated feeling that I didn't do it, or it didn't work out, or it didn't go the way that I wanted it to. And that feeling always sucks. It can sometimes feel like a rejection. Maybe the failure was some kind of rejection, and that feeling is terrible. So knowing that no matter how good you are at failing, it's still going to impact you. It's still going to hurt. It's still going to suck. It's still going to be stressful. And so knowing that that's okay too, that then we decide what we want to do with that. And I have a little tip sheet that I put together around dealing with stress and getting through stress in any situation. Whenever we're feeling stressed, some tips and things that we can do to deal with those feelings of stress in that moment. And you can grab that. I'm going to put the link in, and it's 9 unexpected ways to immediately reduce stress. And they're fun ways, they're effective ways, they're simple ways. They're strategies and tools and techniques and stuff that are really simple that we can do anytime, no matter why we're feeling stressed. And there's a whole list there. So if one of them isn't working in one situation, to go on and try another one. And knowing that different things work at different times, and sometimes something will work in this situation and sometimes it won't, or whatever it is. So this is why there's 9 different ones. So make sure that you grab that, and also make sure that you stay connected with me on all of my social media platforms. Thanks so much for being here, and until next time, take good care.